We go this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anyways.
Good evening. I will now call the May 23, 2023 regular council meeting to order. The time is 7 p.m. Madam Clerk, can you please provide us with an overview of the meeting procedures?
Thank you. Good evening. This meeting is being live streamed and recorded and will be available to the public for playback on our website in accordance with Council Policy 3.12. The purpose of a council meeting is to enact powers given to council using bylaws or resolutions and is the venue for debate of issues before voting on a bylaw or resolution. This meeting is being conducted through the city's One Meeting platform. However, we are experiencing issues with PrimeGov solution for live meeting management that are still being addressed by the vendor. In the interim, we will not be using the system for voting and speaker management purposes. Instead, council has been provided with voting cards, green in favor, red for opposed, and yellow for point of order. We will manually take note of the votes and log them into the system. To be put on the speaker list, please physically raise your hand so that the chair can add you to the list. For members of the public who would like to speak during public question period, if you're participating electronically, please register as a speaker by clicking on the microphone icon in the One Meeting portal and turn on your camera and clearly state your name and city of residence before beginning comments. If you're attending in person, please come forward to the podium when the chair invites speakers and clearly state your name and city of residence before beginning your comments. And lastly, please silence your cell phones. That concludes our opening statement.
Thank you. I would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional and unceded territory of the Katzie First Nation and the Kwantlen First Nation. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first item on tonight's agenda is approval of the agenda.
Thank you. Does any member of council have any changes to the agenda? Seeing none. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as circulated? Moved by Councillor Doze, seconded by Councillor Dewick. All those in favor, please raise your cards. Thank you. The agenda is approved. Madam Clerk.
Your Worship, the next item on tonight's agenda is adoption of the minutes.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion to adopt the minutes for the special council meeting of April 25th, 2023, the regular council meeting of May 9th, 2023, and the report of public hearing of May 16th, 2023. Moved by Councillor Doze, seconded by Councillor Carreras. All those in favor? And that has passed unanimously. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. The next item on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered for approval in one motion unless a member of council wishes to discuss an item and request that it be excluded. Each item removed from the consent agenda will be debated and voted on separately by council.
Thank you. There are 6 items on tonight's consent agenda. Does any member of council wish to remove any items for discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please read the motion?
That the May 23, 2023 consent agenda, including 7.1, 2023 council expenses, 7.2, disbursements for the month of ended April 30th, 2023, 7.3, development agreements committee minutes, 7.4, transportation advisory committee minutes, 7.5, advisory design panel minutes, and 7.6, community heritage commission minutes be received into the record.
Thank you. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Youssef, seconded by Councillor Doze. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? And that has passed unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Your worship, the next item on tonight's agenda is item 9.1, application 2021-530, rezoning 11410 Street to rezone the subject property from RS1 to RT2 to allow the future construction of a fourplex. This item is to consider third reading of zone amending bylaw number 7816-2021, a bylaw to rezone from single detached residential to ground-oriented residential infill. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to move this recommendation, please? Councillor Doze, seconded by Councillor Youssef. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, please raise your cards. And that has passed unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Your worship, the next items in the committee reports and recommendations category are staff reports presented in an earlier committee of the whole meeting, typically a week prior, to provide council with an opportunity to ask staff detailed questions. The items are now before the regular council meeting for debate and vote. Both meetings are open to the public. The reports are not reprinted again in hard copy. However, they can be found in the electronic agenda or in the committee of the whole agenda package. The first of these items is 10.1, application 2023-3052-RZ to rezone the property at 22238 124 Avenue from RS1 to RM4 to allow the future construction of a townhouse development with 26 market strata dwelling units. This item is to consider first reading of zone amending bylaws 7922-2023.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to move the recommendation, please? Moved by Councillor Carreras, seconded by Councillor Doze. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? And that has passed unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Your worship, the next item on tonight's agenda is 10.2, award of contract 2023 pavement rehabilitation program phase 1. This item is to award the contract to Jack Crew Construction Limited in the amount of $1,384,841.65 plus applicable taxes, that a contingency be approved to up to $207,726.28 excluding taxes, and that the chief administrative officer be authorized to execute the contract.
Thank you. Can I get a mover for this motion, please? Moved by Councillor Youssef, seconded by Councillor Doze. Is there any discussion? Oh, Councillor Youssef, please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just wanted to commend staff on their ability to work around the weekend as well as off hours in order to cause the least amount of congestion and inconvenience for our residents while the repaving work happens. As was discussed at committee of the whole, some of these roads are quite major roads that are frequented and used quite frequently by our residents during the rush hour traffic. So it was refreshing to hear that we are taking that into consideration and will be, although it may lend to some complaints about noise and other complaints that may occur as a result of the work that's being carried out. Nevertheless, it is for the greater good of the community that this work be done during the off hours. So I'm happy to see this come about, and we'll be supporting this going forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Youssef. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? And that has passed unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Your worship, the next item on tonight's agenda is item 13, public question period. We have no one in the gallery or online waiting to ask a question tonight.
All right, we will move on then. What is the next item on the agenda?
Your worship, the next item on tonight's agenda is item 14, mayor and council reports.
Thank you. Does any member of council have anything to report? Mayor Rooney.
Thank you very much, Chair. Your fabulous job so far. I just wanted to update everybody on the going-ons of heading this delegation from TransLink. So we met last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with various MPs on all sides of the House, Conservative, NDP, as well as Liberal members, as well as cabinet ministers and some of their chief of staff. The meetings were great. We were able to highlight for TransLink some of the challenges that we're facing and the directions that we want to go in. I think the meetings were very fruitful, brought a lot of attention to TransLink, not only for transit, but using housing and transportation and immigration as a whole narrative with everything, and the reason why we need to be able to move forward. So I think those were very fruitful. We then went to Montreal to tour the newly installed BRT system there. That was quite interesting to see. I mean, I think when we talk about traffic, Montreal's got one up on us, because man, was there a lot of traffic there. But the BRT performed quite nicely because it had its own dedicated lane. The following day, we went to the BRT operations center, and we were able to see how they incorporate operations using not only the BRT, but the metro system, as well as their regular bus routes. It was quite exciting to see. In fact, there was one moment where there was an actual accident, and we were able to see all of this unravel through their camera systems, and you can see absolutely everything going on, and how it affected actually it didn't affect the BRT. They kept moving while everybody else was completely backed up. So that was exciting to see. And the rest of the week, came back to Ottawa, met with some chiefs of staffs on our own to discuss Abernathy corridor and some of the challenges that we're facing. So that was quite fruitful. And then tomorrow I'm heading off to Toronto for the rest of the week for FCM. And it'll be interesting to see. I know a lot of folks will be there, and a lot of people I know will be there as well. So I'm quite excited to represent Maple Ridge. So that's all that I have for you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Youssef.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to Mayor Rumi for that update. Meanwhile, back here in Maple Ridge, of course, on May 10th, His Worship and Councillor Dewick and I were attending the Make Happy Day, raising funds for the Ronald McDonald Home. And of course, that's one of our great causes that we can support here in Maple Ridge. On the 11th, the following Thursday, I was fortunate enough to attend the Donor Appreciation Breakfast for the Ridge Meadows Hospital Foundation, another great cause that one can stand behind and really truly support the outstanding work that they do here in our community. The following day on Friday, it was Catesy Indian Taco Night. And I must say, something about taco and bannock that goes very well together. And it was wonderful to be able to support their soccer team and youth, especially being involved in sport and putting them on track to get to a better place and to be able to exercise and enjoy the wonderful facilities that we have here. On May 13th, Saturday, of course, there was the Celebrating Trades in Maple Ridge, where many of us attended. And also on the same day was the opening ceremony for the Haney Farmers Market, one of my favorite places to go and shop all around. Also, I managed to make my way over to support the Knights football jamboree that was taking place here at Tulaski Stadium. And really hats off to Parks and Recreation staff for the outstanding work that they did in preparing the fields and ensuring that the facilities were open. And of course, as I was there was more, or I should say, requests for more and more facilities and more of the same, if you will, be it through concessions, be it through the washroom facilities that are available there. On the 14th, Sunday, it was the Acts Art Center season closing reception. It was rather intimate, a small group of supporters of the act and of the arts. It was a wonderful conversation that was had all around, and really glad to see that we are continuing to support the act and the arts in our community and the wonderful individuals that were there. It was just an outstanding evening. Lastly, Madam Chair, on Monday, the 15th was, of course, the board meeting for the Ridge Meadows Chamber of Commerce. And as the council liaison, I was there to present on behalf of mayor and council and receive the information. The Chamber of Commerce has the upcoming opening for their new office. Unfortunately, I won't be there. I'll miss it, as I will be joining the mayor in Toronto for the federal FCM. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Youssef. We will go next to Councillor Carreras.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I was actually going to share also about the farmers market and the trades event. It was a great event. Of course, Councillor Youssef spoke about it. Lots of your usual favorite vendors at the farmers market and a few new ones as well. I stumbled on a new treat one that I think will be a new one to stop at. More vegetables, less treats, really, I promise. And the trades one was really fascinating. And one of the things I just highlight because of my past world is the school district was also there. And the school district has one of the largest, I think, based on actual size, it's 4th largest in BC high school trades program, and based on population, it is the largest high school trades program, which is really exciting. And then those students are then feeding into businesses and further trades programs. So that's really great. A huge thank you to staff. The warm weather arrived a bit earlier than expected over the last few weeks, and our spray parks opened last weekend, or I think that last weekend they opened. And there were a lot of very, very happy children and parents online knowing that they were out opening a bit early, especially coinciding with the very, very hot weekend that we had. The only other thing I'd like to share with the community is to make sure that you sign up to and follow the City of Maple Ridge Facebook page. As we enter into freshet season, we did have a high stream warning the last couple of weeks, and it's a great place to get some information and alerts and be up to date, as well as our alert app. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much. And I just have a few updates as well. I attended the ARMS board meeting, or attended the meeting as council liaison back in May. And last week in my role as acting mayor, I attended the Canadian Institute of Steel Construction BC Region Awards of Excellence. This was down in Vancouver. And the first award of the night went to High Point Living, as is a development in Maple Ridge, project developed by Concordia Properties. So that was really nice to see. And on Saturday, I had the pleasure of representing the city at the Mad Hatters Parade and Tea Party. This was an event to raise awareness about mental health and wellness, and the organizers did a great job of putting together a fun and positive event on a very beautiful day. Madam Clerk, what do we have next?
Your Worship, the last item on tonight's agenda is item 16, adjournment.
Thank you. We have reached the end of tonight's agenda. The time is 7:18 p.m. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.